I'm Pat Doris. Welcome to The Story and welcome to Friday. Hey, tonight we're going to start out with a glimpse of the future. You probably know the existing I-5 bridges across the Columbia River, kind of old, definitely need to be redone, rebuilt. It's a huge project, but one that now includes pictures, designs of what the new bridge or bridges could look like, and that is our big story tonight. It doesn't matter if you live in Portland or Vancouver or Eastern Oregon for that matter. Odds are pretty good that you've traveled across the interstate bridge that holds I-5 up across the Columbia River. It's not what you would call beautiful, but it is beautiful that because there's two side by side, that they continue to stand and allow us to zip from one state to the other. Well, at least outside of rush hour. The design of the existing bridge is something called a steel vertical lift truss. The truss parts are the triangles that you see throughout the bridge. That's what gives it the strength to hold all of our cars and trucks. I wanted to tell you that because we're going to be looking at some different bridge designs tonight. There are several options out now that could replace the existing interstate bridges. So it's good to know the differences. Ready to go bridge shopping? Let's see if you can find one you like. The group working on replacing the existing bridges released computer animations of several options. The first is called an extra-dosed bridge. It's a cross between a girder bridge and a cable-stayed bridge. A girder bridge is a common bridge where the decking that you drive on is built on top of horizontal supporting beams. Those beams sit on piers that support the entire thing. The cables run between towers and the bridge deck. One advantage of this design is relatively low towers. They'd stay out of the airspace of the local airports, and it would only be one level. A second option is called a fin-back bridge. It's similar to that first one, the extra dose, but the cables are not exposed. They're held inside a concrete housing. It also has low support towers. This is a concrete bridge, a third option. It's similar to what we have now on Interstate 205. Here's another option, a steel bridge. It has a wider profile at the piers. It's much lighter and would use smaller piers though. The downside, they say, is that you have to paint it and keep up on maintenance on the coatings of the bridge deck. It's cheaper in the beginning, but about the same cost as the others in the long run, according to the experts. Another possibility, a two-level structure with the highway on top and bike and transit underneath. It's considered a clean design. It's much more narrow than one of the single-level bridges, but the views are not great if you're on the lower level. And finally, this is something called a movable span bridge. Some of these bridges pivot, but this one would go up and down. It will have large concrete counterweights to move that segment up, but you wouldn't see them. They'd be housed within the towers. So what do you think? Pretty cool, huh? Did you find a design that you like? Let us know. You're going to have to live with it for 100 years, so I hope you really like it. So think about it and then let us know. In the meantime, there's the issue of how this is all going to be paid for. The state of Washington is committed to paying $1 billion. Another $1 billion plus will be raised through tolling, which then leaves the federal government and Oregon. Oregon plans to match Washington, adding $1 billion to the bridge plan, but there's a little problem there. The legislation to do that has not yet been passed. It will likely come in the form of some sort of bonds, but at the moment, you may have heard, everything in Salem's on hold. The Republicans are boycotting the Senate, and without a quorum with the Republicans, the Senate can't do any work. And the final legislation that will guarantee Oregon's contribution is on hold with everything else. I talked today with Democrat Elizabeth Steiner. She's one of the co-chairs of the Budget Committee, which is called Ways and Means.
If we don't come back, they don't come back, then it's potential for us to miss that important window. Without federal funding, we cannot do this bridge. So it's very important that Oregon have its act together and our Republican colleagues come back very soon so that we can have a public process to get this and other important bills moving.
Does that mean that if the session adjourns without the Republicans coming back, that the bridge project is in serious jeopardy?
It's certainly a concern. I wouldn't say that it's dead, and I wouldn't say that we have a definitive plan for it not to be dead, but it certainly reduces our options and hampers our ability to apply for federal funding in a timely fashion.
So, something to think about. Both states hope the federal government will kick in at least a couple of $1 billion. The window to apply for those funds, though, that opens in middle of June, which adds pressure to all sides as the walkout goes on and on and on. By the way, speaking of Washington, the state secretary of transportation of Washington not happy with his new budget, and his governor, Jay Inslee, agrees. Lawmakers gave the Washington Department of Transportation $700 million per year for maintenance. But, sounds like a lot, but it's $300 million less than the Secretary of Transportation for Washington said he needs. He talked about it yesterday when he met with others to discuss the Interstate Bridge.
While we are committed to projects like the IBR, which indeed is primarily a preservation project and a safety project, we are going to see statewide a lessening in the quality of and safety of our transportation system if the legislative direction continues as it has been. It's unfortunate, but the reality is there are too many things to do and not enough money to do them with.
So that's kind of a happy thought, eh? Think about that as you drive Washington's highways. By the way, Governor Inslee is quoted in the Columbian newspaper as saying, look, this is a chronic problem of legislators wanting blue ribbon events for new projects instead of maintaining bridges and roads. Now, legislators are not taking that laying down. The legislative leader said lawmakers needed to spread projects around to get support from both Democrats and Republicans in the Washington legislature.